Hello students, as we are learning about alcohols and phenols, today we are going to see the chemical reactions of phenol. In the previous videos, we have seen how to write the IUPAC name of alcohols and phenols and also for ethers, and then we have seen the different methods of preparations of alcohols and phenols. And then we have seen about the physical properties of them, and in the previous video we have seen the chemical reactions of alcohols. And in today's video, we are going to specifically see about the chemical reactions of phenol. Just like alcohols, you can categorize the chemical reactions of phenol into these three categories. Reactions due to phenolic group, reactions of the benzene ring, and some special reactions of phenol. First, let's start with the reactions due to phenolic group. We have seen a reaction in this category when we discussed about the acidic nature of alcohols and phenols. And we have seen phenols are weakly acidic in nature, but compared to alcohols, phenols are having more acidic strength. And we have discussed all those reasons. And now this reaction of phenol with metals like sodium shows you the acidic nature of phenol. So when phenol is treated with sodium, it gives you ONA. So this is a phenolic group. In this OH, what is coming here? ONA. We call this as sodium phenoxide, and hydrogen gases evolved. This evolution of hydrogen gas when phenol reacts with sodium shows that phenol is acidic in nature. Same way, phenols neutralize caustic alkalis like NaOH and also KOH. They form salt and water. So when phenol is treated with NaOH, again you're getting sodium phenoxide, along with that you're getting water. The next reaction of phenol is its reaction with zinc. When phenol is heated with zinc, it is reduced to benzene. So phenol plus zinc upon heating gives you benzene plus Zaton-O. And the next one is reaction of phenol with ammonia. When you treat phenol with ammonia, in the presence of anhydrous zinc chloride at 573 Kelvin, it gives you aniline. Aniline is a primary amine which you will be learning in detail in the last organic chapter, amines. So NH2 group is the amine group. So instead of OH, if you get NH2, then in benzene ring, then we call that as aniline. So these reactions come under the reactions of phenol where the phenolic group is involved. The second category is reactions of the benzene ring. In phenols, the reactions that take place on the aromatic ring are called electrophilic substitution reactions. Because I've written few examples of these electrophilic substitution reactions: halogenation, nitration, and you can have sulfonation, alkylation, acylation. In all these reactions, the attacking agent is an electrophile, which means it carries a positive charge. Since the attacking agent is electrophile, we call this reactions as electrophilic substitution reaction. The OH group attached to the benzene ring activates this benzene ring towards electrophilic substitution reaction, and it also directs the incoming group to ortho and para positions in the ring, because these positions become electron rich. Why they become electron rich? Because of the resonance effect. Now see, OH is an electron donating group. So this is what happens, and this is called Plessem effect, and we have seen about this when we learned about the acidic nature. So because of this resonance, now look at all the structures. Where do you have negative charge? Here in the ortho position, here in the para position, and here also in the ortho position. Meta position does not carry any charge. Now the incoming group is an electrophile, which means it has a positive charge. So if that positively charged electrophile is coming inside, which of these three sides will be preferred? The negative charged ortho and para positions, or the meta position with no charge? Obviously, the positive electrophile will prefer the negatively charged ortho and para position. So that's the reason the OH group is ortho-para directing, which means it is directing the incoming electrophile to the ortho and para position. Now we will see few examples. The first electrophilic substitution reaction of phenol is nitration. Phenol can be nitrated even with dilute nitric acid or with concentrated nitric acid. Here the electrophile is NO2 plus. As I told you already, this OH is ortho-para directing. So the electrophile NO2 will be directed to the ortho and para position. So you get a mixture of ortho and para nitrophenols. So this is orthonitrophenol OH. Here you have in ortho position NO2 and this is para nitrophenol. So remember, when you treat phenol with dilute HNO3 at low temperatures like 293 Kelvin, you get a mixture of orthonitrophenol and paranitrophenol. And this mixture of ortho and paranitrophenol, they can be separated by steam distillation. A question will be asked, how can you separate orthonitrophenol and paranitrophenol, or why is it possible to separate these two ortho and paranitроphenols by steam distillation? So the answer is, when you do steam distillation, orthonitrophenol is steam volatile, which means when steam is passed through this mixture, orthonitrophenol volatilizes, which means it evaporates and its vapors arise along with the steam. And after condensation, you can collect orthonitrophenol, whereas paranitrophenol is left behind in the distillation flask. So why this happens? The reason is, in the case of orthonitrophenol, there is intramolecular hydrogen bonding. See, this is intramolecular hydrogen bonding. This is NO2, this is OH group, and this oxygen is partially negative because it is more electronegative than nitrogen. Same way, comparing O and H, O is more electronegative than hydrogen, so hydrogen gets a partial positive charge. This partially positive hydrogen forms a weak bonding with partially negative oxygen, and this happens within the same molecule. This bonding is called as hydrogen bonding, and since it is happening within the same molecule, we call this as intramolecular hydrogen bonding. So in the case of orthonitrophenol, they will be existing as individual molecules, so they rise along with the steam. But in the case of paranitrophenol, it is less volatile because of intermolecular hydrogen bonding, which means the bonding will be between two paranitrophenol. Here it is within the same compound, here between two compounds. So they are bonded to each other, so they don't rise along with the steam. Now see, this oxygen with partial negative charge of this ortho paranitrophenol is forming a hydrogen bonding with another molecule of paranitrophenol, where here this hydrogen is having a partially positive charge. So there is a bonding, weak bonding, which is called as hydrogen bonding. This type of bonding is called as intermolecular hydrogen bonding, which means between two molecules. So this is not steam volatile, but this is steam volatile. So this goes with the steam, but this is left behind in the distillation flask. So this is how we separate ortho and paranitrophenol. The next one is the reaction of phenol with concentrated nitric acid. With concentrated nitric acid, phenol is converted to 2,4,6-trinitrophenol. This product is commonly called as picric acid, where all the ortho and para positions are substituted with NO2. So phenol, in the presence of con HNO3, all the three positions, ortho and para positions. So we call this as 2,4,6-trinitrophenol. It is commonly called as picric acid. In your textbook, they have given, nowadays picric acid is prepared by treating phenol first with concentrated sulfuric acid, which converts phenol into 2,4-disulfonic acid, and then with concentrated nitric acid to give 2,4,6-trinitrophenol. Can you write the equations of the reactions involved? So now let's try to write the equations for this paragraph. It is given on page 333 in your textbook. So in the first step, phenol is treated with concentrated sulfuric acid. It gives you ortho-para-hydroxy benzene sulfonic acid. This is called as sulfonic acid. So here it is in ortho position SO3H. Here it is in para position. So we are calling it as ortho-hydroxy benzene sulfonic acid, para-hydroxy benzene sulfonic acid. So after converting phenol into this sulfonic acid, and remember, we can call this as phenol 2,4-disulfonic acid. See, where you will have both the ortho and para position substituted in the same compound. So you can have SO3H here and SO3H here and take it as a single compound. Now treating that compound with ConHNO3, you are getting picric acid. So this is how we convert phenol into picric acid, through treating it with concentrated sulfuric acid. When they are asking you to convert phenol to picric acid, you can use either of the reactions. In the previous reaction, we have seen treating phenol directly with concentrated nitric acid, you can get picric acid. So if they give you conversion, you can do that way. Suppose if they give you on the arrow ConH2SO4 and ask you what is the product, and then they ask you how to convert this into picric acid, then you should know this method also. So in the electrophilic substitution reactions of phenol, we have seen nitration and sulfonation also. Now we are going to see halogenation. For halogenation reaction, we are going to treat phenol with bromine. When we treat phenol with bromine, we get different products depending upon the experimental conditions that we use. When we take a non-polar solvent medium like CCl4 or CS2, the halogenation reaction becomes slow, and it happens with only one halogen atom, which means only one halogen atom is introduced either at ortho position or at para position, which means you are getting a mixture of isomeric products. When do we get that? When we take bromine in non-polar solvents like CS2. So phenol in the presence of Br2 taken in CS2 at 273 Kelvin, you are getting two different products, mono-substituted products. Br substituted in ortho position and Br substituted in para position. So this is orthobromophenol, this is para-bromophenol. So these two are isomers. But in aqueous medium, which means you are taking bromine with water, we call that as bromine water, all the three positions are substituted by bromine. So we get 2,4,6-tribromophenol, just like picric acid. So this happens when you take bromine in aqueous medium. This is actually a white precipitate. We use this reaction to identify phenol. It is used as a test for phenol. Whether the given sample is phenol or not, we decide by treating it with bromine water. If you add bromine water to phenol, it gives you white precipitate because of the formation of 2,4,6-tribromophenol. If you don't get a white precipitate after adding bromine water, then the given sample is not phenol. So this is how we use this as a test to identify phenol. So far we have seen the reactions of phenol in two different categories. One, the reactions of phenolic group. The second one, the reactions of benzene ring, where it undergoes electrophilic substitution reaction. Now we are going to see some special reactions of phenol. First one in that category is Reimer-Tiemann reaction. We call these types of reactions as name reactions. In this reaction, phenol is heated with chloroform along with sodium hydroxide, or you can use potassium hydroxide also. And then acidification is done with dilute HCl. So this is what happens in Reimer-Tiemann reaction. First, phenol is treated with chloroform and aqueous NaOH. You are getting an intermediate, and that intermediate is substituted benzyl chloride, ZAL, not benzyl, benzyl chloride, and that benzyl chloride is further hydrolyzed in the presence of an alkali. So first with NaOH, you are getting ONA, this remains the same, this becomes CHO. This is aldehyde group. And then it is acidified. H plus, you are getting OH, CHO. This is salicylaldehyde. You remember when you take sodium phenoxide and acidify it, you get phenol. So this ONA can be converted into OH by acidifying it. So same is done here. So finally you are getting salicylaldehyde because of this CHO group. We call this as 2-hydroxy. This is the main functional group. So this is the substituent. 1, 2, second position. 2-hydroxy benzaldehyde is the IUPAC name of this compound. So this is Reimer-Tiemann reaction. So when they ask you to write Reimer-Tiemann reaction, you have to write this entire reaction and name these compounds. The next special reaction of phenol is Kolb's reaction. This reaction is also called as Kolb-Schmitt reaction. In this reaction, carbon dioxide gas is passed through sodium phenoxide. We know how to convert phenol to sodium phenoxide, and then carbon dioxide gas is passed, followed by acidification with dilute HCl. Finally, you get salicylic acid. Previously, we have seen salicylaldehyde. Now, this is salicylic acid. We take phenol, treat it with sodium hydroxide and convert it into sodium phenoxide. On passing carbon dioxide gas and then acidifying it, you are getting what? A COOH group introduced in the phenol. So this is nothing but 2-hydroxy benzoic acid. If CHO is here, we call that as salicylaldehyde. Since COOH is here, we call this as salicylic acid. And next one is oxidation. Phenol gets slowly oxidized to a pink colored compound called benzoquinone when it is exposed to air, or if you use any oxidizing agent like acidified sodium chromate, you can oxidize phenol into benzoquinone. See, look at the bonds here. We have just 2 double bonds and then double bond O, double bond O. This is benzoquinone and this is the oxidizing agent. Acidified sodium dichromate. So we have learned all the chemical reactions possibly shown by phenol, and the questions will be like conversions or complete the reactions. They might ask you how will you convert phenol into benzoquinone, or what will happen if phenol is treated with sodium hydroxide, or write the equations in Kolb's reaction or in Reimer-Tiemann reaction. This is how questions will be, and I've tried to show you some typical conversions based on these chemical reactions, and few reactions which I have not seen here, but still we can learn some new chemical reactions which they have asked in the previous board exams. The first one is, how will you convert phenol to acetophenone? What is the formula for acetophenone? A benzene ring with COCH3. This is acetophenone. Actually, you are acylating this. We have studied about Friedel-Crafts acylation. How do we do this acylation? When you treat benzene with, what is this, acetyl chloride in the presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride, you can acylate the benzene ring. So this we have learned in Friedel-Crafts acylation. So now the question is, how will you convert phenol into acetophenone? So if you know how to convert benzene to acetophenone, only thing that you have to do is to find out how to convert phenol into benzene. Just now we have seen when phenol is treated with zinc and when it is heated, phenol is reduced to benzene. So the first step is treating phenol, heating phenol with zinc. You are getting benzene, and then treating benzene with acetyl chloride in the presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride, you get acetophenone. So whenever you want to acylate any compound, we always take this mixture. But when you want to alkylate, what do we take? Instead of the CO, we just take CH3Cl, which is methyl chloride. If you take alkyl chloride, you can alkylate. When you take this acetyl chloride, you can acylate. But both takes place in the presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride. And the next conversion, which is usually asked in board exams, is how will you convert phenol to aspirin? Aspirin is a very useful medicinal compound. It is used as analgesic to relieve the body from pains, and it is also used as an antipyretic, which helps to lower the temperature of the body in case of fever. So now we will see how to convert phenol to aspirin. Just now we have seen about acylation of benzene. We have one more thing called alkylation, and here we are going to do a third thing which is called as acetylating. In the case of acetylation, we will use acetic anhydride. This is the formula for acetic anhydride, CH3CO twice O. This is acetic anhydride. So now we will see how we are going to acetylate salicylic acid to get aspirin. We have already seen how to convert phenol to salicylic acid in Cole's reaction. Treating phenol with NaOH to give you sodium phenoxide, and then treating it with carbon dioxide followed by acidification will give you salicylic acid. What is salicylic acid? Having COOH group in the ortho position of phenol. So when you acetylate salicylic acid with acetic anhydride, in the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid, you are getting aspirin. You can keep the COOH here itself. I have changed and written. You can keep the COOH here. Instead of this H, you can write this, instead of this OH, you can write OCOCH3. This is aspirin, and we call this as orthoacetoxybenzoic acid. Orthoacetoxybenzoic acid. Look here. Here I have written CH3. You can introduce this alkyl group into the benzene ring, and you can introduce OCOCH3 in the benzene ring and COCH3 in the benzene ring, whether it is phenol or aniline or something else, but in the benzene ring you can introduce any of these three. When you do this, we call this as alkylation. When you are introducing this group, we are calling this as acetylation. If you are doing this, we call as acylation. So in the preparation of aspirin, you are getting acetic acid as a byproduct. The next one is conversion of phenol to toluene. See, which means you are introducing a CH3 group, this one, which means alkylation. As I told you, you are going to take CH3Cl in the presence of anhydrous aluminium chloride. So phenol is reduced to benzene by heating it with zinc, and then benzene is treated with CH3Cl in the presence of anhydrous aluminium chloride. You are getting CH3 in the benzene ring. So this is toluene. The next one is converting phenol to benzoic acid. You can convert toluene to benzoic acid by oxidizing toluene with KMNO4. You get benzoic acid, and you already know how to convert phenol into toluene. So you can start from here and then finally finish here. So take phenol, heat it with zinc, you get benzene, and then alkylate benzene with CH3Cl in the presence of anhydrous aluminium chloride. You get toluene, and when you oxidize toluene with KMNO4, you get benzoic acid, COOH group here. So this is how conversions will be asked. So far we have completed all the chemical reactions of alcohols and phenols now. So please be thorough with these reactions. Thank you.